Hi, this is Lorraine, and I'm doing another video. If you'll give me a second to clear, center, and balance my energy, we'll get started. So there's just a whole lot of information that came in this week, so much that I got days mixed up, and even though all the entries were dated, the way they went into my journal got mixed up. So I'm just going to read it beginning to end, and I'm going to have to find some way to just as I'm reading, make sure that everything is can be understood. But I do feel like it's going to be okay. I feel like everything happens for a reason. But I haven't read through the journal because there's so much information. It was a very overwhelming week, filled with a whole lot of information. One thing I noticed is my video I did 2 weeks ago, and then this last video I said June instead of March. And last week's video I said June 6th, I think. And I didn't correct myself. I didn't even notice that I had said it incorrectly. And even when I was editing. And so there's something about June. I know for me personally, something's happening in June, but I do feel like because I'm so connected to the planet and this transition, that it's going to be something global also. So since there's so much information, I'm going to have to probably be really creative in how I section it, because it feels like a lot. So I'm just going to start. March 11th. And these are just notes. And this is information that's coming in. Like everything I write in my journal is information that's coming in. But I don't know how to discern. Sometimes it's very clearly like messages that need to be conveyed. Notes, I would say, are normally stuff that's information I've gotten over years that I haven't necessarily talked about in the videos. I guess that's a good way to put it, but stuff that's come back currently, and that I feel like I need to talk about. So this is a note I have: pole shifting, global warming, fear-mongering, an attempt to stop the shifting through the consciousness. Change through manipulation. Stop the symptoms, the shifts in weather and temperature across the globe, a result of shifting poles. In an attempt to stop the pole shift and everything else happening as a result of the pole shift, i.e. transcendence. And so what that means is, and so I just wrote those notes down and then I explained it later. If they can shift our consciousness through fear to prevent the changing weather patterns, they believe or believed they could stop what is creating the changing weather patterns. This is a belief rooted in the ego. It does not acknowledge the will of the divine or the divine source energy's ability to exact a force on the flow of energy through us. This is one of the most compelling reasons for light in the darkness. There must be a light to exact a force of balanced energy from within the body of darkness. And so, if I may, really quickly, I've gotten this message many times over the years. It's just not something people want to hear. But if they can, so all this weather, changing of the weather patterns and temperatures and this erratic weather, which is related to the pole shift, is a result of transcendence. This was always meant to happen, and it started happening a long time ago. Okay, and so as this negative energy sees this happening, they have to come up with a reason for what it is. Why can we say that this is happening? It's the natural process of the universe, and for this planet, but they're not going to tell you that. They're not going to, because they don't want people to transcend. They're trying to hold us at this lower level of consciousness. So what do? They start telling us that there is global warming, and that we are causing it, and that it's emissions, it's cows, it's all these different reasons. So we need to recycle, and we need to do all these things to prevent or to reverse the damage we've done, right? And so we believe it because we don't believe that these organizations that are supposed to be helping us and governing us and protecting us could lie to us about something like that. Why would they, right? Why would they lie to us? Okay, but the intention behind it is to use our fear. Oh no, we got to stop this. We got to stop the changing weather. We'll do this, and we'll stop. And if we believe, mind, body, and spirit, and our heart and soul, that if we do this, if we recycle, if we drive vehicles with alternative power sources, that we will stop or prevent global warming. We will prevent the weather changing, right? So in our mind, we're addressing the symptoms by changing our behavior, trying to prevent the shift in weather, right? Prevent the global warming. And but we don't know that this is this unbalanced energy trying to address the symptoms of a transcendence. Okay, the signs of transcendence, addressing the signs. If we can dull, slow, or prevent these things from happening, we can prevent transcendence. That's what this unbalanced energy is believing. It's completely driven by ego, because this energy, this unbalanced energy, doesn't even take into account the divine source's influence on itself, okay, as a whole body, right? Not as individual fractals, but as a whole body. But then also as individual fractals, working through me and other people like me, other light workers, okay? So that's what that's saying right there, okay? That this was a belief that this unbalanced energy had, that if it addressed global warming and used the collective consciousness of humanity as a tool to slow or stop global warming, it could slow or stop transcendence, okay? And so, once again, this is one of the most compelling reasons for light in the darkness. There must be a light to exact a force of balanced energy from within the body of darkness. So, myself and other light workers like me carry the light within. We carry balanced energy, and we exact a force against this manipulation, okay, of humanity or of the consciousness, okay? And so there is like that perfect yin-yang symbol. So I drew it right here. But here we are, the light in the darkness, right here. We are the light in the darkness, okay? And there's always some darkness in the light. But we maintain balance between those two energies, okay? That's the mastery of the emotional body, maintaining balance of those two, because there is beauty and goodness in darkness, okay? And there is unbalanced energy in light, okay? So it's about maintaining the balance, okay? It masks itself in the darkness until it is time to reveal itself. the same way the darkness has masked itself in the light. Okay, so the light masks itself in the darkness, the same way the darkness masks itself in the light. There is always a revelatory moment in every cycle. Earth humans are presently going through their revelatory moment. And so the red star Kachina, the blue star Kachina, the white buffalo woman, shapeshifters, thunderbird come in very strong. And so I have some articles that I read, and the red star, blue star Kachina have been coming in since 2016, at least for me, intuitively. I didn't even know what it was actually until about 2016. And so I'm going to put some description or some articles or whatever websites you can look at, but I would recommend that you do your own research. There was one article that referenced a video, and I could not find the video, but that is very indicative of very telling information that's given. It's being removed at every turn from the internet, okay, from video, social media, video channels. It's very difficult to find, but if you search for it, you can find it, and there's very good and important information. But you have to be diligent. You have to be very committed, like I am. Like, I search high and low to find these things, because if they're taking it off, there's a reason, okay? So anyway, I'm going to put some links, or you can do your own research, but I would encourage you to research the red star and blue star Kachina, which is Hopi prophecy, okay? White buffalo woman, shapeshifters, thunderbird also, if you're interested. But right now I would say most compelling red star and blue star Kachina. But again, all the rest have come in very strong for me recently, but throughout the years since 2016. March 12th. Our food is not meant for us. Some of the messages that came in this week were really intense, and so I'm going to try to just take deep breaths and maintain my center, but our food is not meant for us. It is not being cultivated for us, which is why we are having so many issues processing it through our bodies, and one of the many reasons for the health issues we're dealing with. And so gluten, wheat, which was a huge staple in our diet for centuries, people are having gluten intolerances and gluten sensitivity. And it's even become a joke for some comedians, but it's not really a joke if it's something you're dealing with, right? It's being changed. Our food is being changed to be sent off-world. High vibratory food to heal those off-world carries a hefty price. It's highly valued and highly coveted. Okay, so they are no longer cultivating our food for us. It's meant to be taken off-world for other people because of the incredible healing properties of the food grown on Earth. Food that is toxic for us carries an extremely high vibration because of us, even in the current state of this oppressed world. Even at this lower level of consciousness, in this fear-based living, in this unbalanced state, because of our energy field, because of the depth and breadth of emotion that we carry, the food that is grown within the energy field of Mother Earth is very high vibration and highly coveted. We are powerful. We are powerful. We release the change from this world. We project love and light, balanced energy from this world throughout the universe. We execute the will of the divine. It is our birthright. I sit in the heart. I create the change. And I will not be stopped. Constructs, universes, from the last video. The example of me sleeping and my husband waking up and seeing me in bed because I am a construct of his reality is an example of quantum entanglement. My mom used to tell me stories about leaving the body while we were sleeping and going somewhere else. She didn't call it astro traveling though. But I thought that was important to note. I think I talked about constructive interference, deconstructive interference, and quantum entanglement, but I didn't make the connection between that example that I was telling. So even though I am astral traveling and I'm somewhere else in some other now moment, right? We are entangled because of our connection, our energetic connection, and his belief, the construct that he's created or that's been created, that I am part of his life, right? So even if he is in this space right here and I am in another space existing in a different reality, I still exist in his reality. Okay, so we are connected, entangled through our consciousness, through our understanding of our existence and the relationship of our existence, okay, that is built and exists within our consciousness, right? Okay, I don't want to keep saying the same thing over and over, but again, and then I'll even say in this video, I feel like when I was writing in my journal that some things are repeated, and I noticed myself repeating a lot of things in the last video. But when that happens, it means it's being reinforced. It needs to be reinforced, because I'm not necessarily, I'm thinking, because that's what we do, right? I have a brain to think. But I'm receiving intuitively and I'm allowing the information to flow, okay? And so I'm just following that internal guidance. Okay. March 13th. Oh, so this is early morning. For some reason I put the time, 5:19 a.m. The pulses of energy move through Mother Earth. Consider them labor pangs. They will increase in intensity and frequency. Next, the merging of fields within my consciousness. I can feel it in my head. I have a headache, and it feels like massive fields or dominoes are being lined up and merged in my head. So I wish I had dominoes. I know I have some somewhere, but I don't. So it feels like I have a whole bunch of dominoes lined up, and that they have a little space between them, like when you toss them over and then they make that neat design, and you know, they topple each other over. But these are lined up together, lined up against next to each other, and then they kind of come together like an accordion and they become one. And so that is what that's what it felt like in my head. And then visually I could see it in my mind's eye. I could see these fields lined up, and then they come together. These timelines are being reconciled. Okay, so we talked about this construct or this idea of timelines, but really timelines don't really exist like that. These are thoughts of the divine. And so what has been done is they have coalesced. So all these possible realities that the divine was exploring and thinking about, maybe learning from in some way, they have coalesced, they have come together. And in this moment, okay, there are no other possible realities for Earth. Earth is on a very specific trajectory, and it's transcending. I'm not explaining or translating what that means for individuals trying to use manipulation of timelines for their benefit. So that may seem like I explained that, what I just said about timelines, but really this unbalanced energy is going to keep trying to manifest the reality that it wants. It's going to keep trying to move through time. It's going to keep trying to split timelines or change the future. It's going to keep doing it. And they're just going to be allowed to keep trying that. Let's just put it that way. They'll be allowed to keep trying to manifest their reality, the desired reality, because they're driven by ego. Okay, low level thinking, low level energy, unbalanced energy, not understanding, not accepting, not willing at this point to open themselves up to their connection to the divine. A man reaps what he sows. Galatians 6:7. March 14th. Work as a guide to help others grow. Work as a soul group to aid one another. I spent a lot of time meditating and thinking about who the people are in my life and what they represented, what we were to accomplish, and what the roles were or are on this journey. And these days the roles are very streamlined. So I thought about my grandmother, my grandfather, my paternal grandmother and grandfather, my Uncle Dan, who is actually my great uncle. He's my grandfather's younger brother. My dad, my dad's sister, my Auntie Blaze, is very strong energy. She's like she was literally a librarian, but she was like a Akashic Records type energy on the planet, keeper of the information. And then also I have peers, people, some who I've met, some who I haven't met but I'm aware of. And I just started thinking about who they are and what they mean. And when I was younger, like my grandfather being very stoic and being maintaining the household, the field, that family structure, even the hierarchy within that structure kept us all safe, okay? And mind, body, and spirit. Then my grandmother being the nurturer and my spiritual guide, my guide. She is a guide on this plane. She's always with me in every lifetime. My dad always incarnates with me in every lifetime, but we're more very high level light workers. All of us walk, all of us are light in the darkness. All of us are very experienced in these journeys of darkness. My grandfather was an indentured servant, but he was a child worker at 9 years old, working the sugarcane fields just like any other adult in 1900. And so my grandfather used to work alongside grown men and being marginalized, treated like a slave because they were owned, even though they weren't. They were owned for 5 years because they were indentured servants, and they did eventually become free. But for those 5 years, they worked for free. They worked to pay for their passage from Puerto Rico to Hawaii. And so he was someone who'd been through a lot, seen many dark things happen. He was very upset. I learned as an adult from Auntie Blaze, very upset about what happened to the Hawaiian people by the Caucasians that came to the islands. That's not to say that all Caucasians are bad people. I think just that most of the people with the massive amounts of money are Caucasian. And so those people with the money and the power were the oppressors, not regular, everyday working class folks. So I would like to make that determination, that delineation. My grandfather was very upset about that. I learned after many years after he passed. But he was, because of his experience walking through darkness, he was very vigilant in honoring good people, raising us to be very spiritual, just like my grandmother. My grandfather always had his rosary in his pocket, and setting a solid foundation of goodness and respect and honoring all people, mind, body, and spirit. And so they were the foundation of who I have become as an adult, as far as spirituality, as far as honor and integrity of the people around me. But then I have a whole new group of people who we're all slowly coming together right now, and we are moving and pushing through transcendence. And even though I'm looking at this, I think only 1 or 2 I've actually met out of about 6 that I have written down, we will eventually be drawn together to start driving forward on this next phase of change and transcendence. Okay, and so I don't know why, but every now and then I have to go back and revisit this. And I think it's mostly because discernment is so important, because the energy is constantly shifting. We have to make sure that we are still committed to path and purpose. We have to make sure that all the people that we are aligning with, that we're connecting through our heart, and that we're not allowing ourselves to be manipulated, okay? Because that's still a very real part of this change right now. Discernment is a very important component right now, because at this point, this negative energy, this unbalanced energy is becoming very desperate, very desperate. And so they're moving back to a much more subtle approach in some places. Okay, I'm just going to let that go because I can keep talking about this. I can start channeling it and run, and I don't want to do that. There's so much information here. So 3/15, March 15th. When people believe their secrets are their own, they do some pretty messed up stuff. And so this goes into, that's the information that came to me, and then I was like, started information about telepathic communication started coming in. Today's society wants you or us to prove it. They discard this source of information as conjecture or as unfounded. So nobody gives value to telepathic communication, information that comes in telepathically or energetically. From a 3D perspective, one may consider it as such, but from a higher level of consciousness, This is the most accurate form of information from the clearest perspective provided because it originates from source energy. I never question divine guidance. When we come into telepathic communication, it forces us to see the world and ourselves from a different perspective, a higher perspective. We do not use this information as a tool of manipulation. It is a tool meant to empower and embolden humanity, Mother Earth, Father Sun, and our solar system. We grow as leaders and teachers from this place. And so I had notes someplace else, and I didn't add them at this spot in my journal, so I'm just going to keep moving forward, and then I'll revisit this. March 16th, I had a vision before going to sleep. Okay, so this was actually the night of the 15th. Before going to sleep, and then it came back to me in the morning. Normally, if I don't write something down, it'll fade away, or it'll keep beating on my consciousness until I write it down. And so this vision I had at night before I went to bed, I woke up with that same vision. I saw what looked like a very light or faded stream of energy across space, meaning outer space. Then they reminded me of the wakes left in the water behind a boat, but they don't originate from one place, like the outboard motor of a boat. So, so the waves kind of reminded me of, and I'll just show you this. I drew this because it's, you know, when you're water skiing or something behind a boat, how the water comes out and it goes in like two different directions, to the left or to the left, and the right of the boat, or the back of the boat to the left or the right, and the outboard out the middle, right? It makes those funky waves out the back of the boat, right? But what I saw reminded me of that, but it didn't look like that. They were just straight, like wavy lines or waves of energy, like ribbons, I guess you could say. Oops, sorry, I can't get this to show it. Like ribbons moving across space. Then I saw a ship, but it wasn't large. It was something more like you would see flying over land, carrying one person, not flying through space, but this ship was flying through space. So it was a ship moving across space, but it looked like it shouldn't be flying through space. I guess is what that's what I was thinking when I saw it, and it was carrying one person. And so I just drew this, not very good, but as for like size and ratio, that's what it looked like as far as a ratio, the ship to person. And they were standing on it just like that. It was like open in the back like that too. And then this is the top side view that I had of it. So this right here, this little circle is the person standing, and then there was some type of design on the front, like the hood of it. Yeah, there's some type of design on the hood of it, right? So then the being was a long hair. He looked like he had dreadlocks. He had facial hair, a beard, and a mustache. He was rough looking, unclean. I did this really bad drawing. He looked like a Rastafarian biker. That's the best way I could put it. He looked like a Rastafarian biker. His clothes were dark brown, again, rough, but they weren't space age looking. They were brown, and it almost reminded me of like Western attire, but it wasn't. It was not like Western attire, but like a long jacket, dark brown with something dark clothing underneath. And I only saw him from the waist up. Scruffy beard, scruffy mustache, like caramel complexion. He didn't look African. He looked more like he had Latino a look about him, like, but the best way to describe him, because the hair was very long and it just reminded me the way it laid of dreadlocks. No real identifying marks. He looked humanoid. He looked human. He did not look like he was from another world, but he was not of this earth, at least not the surface. And I found a picture online when I looked for a Rastafarian biker, and that's the picture. I'll do a picture in picture. It's got whoops. It's a stock image, stock photo, so it's got stock photo written all over it. But this guy's very happy. This guy's feeling some serious irie over here, right? He smiling. He has such good energy. Very good energy of this gentleman in this photo. This gentleman that I saw in my vision was not having it. He was very like, I gotta stop this. We gotta stop this. So I said clothes were dark brown, again, rough, not space age looking, but he was not from Earth. And it was a he, definitely a he, very masculine male energy. This energy carried negativity, fear, unbalanced thoughts. They have been warned any action against this world will be handled swiftly and succinctly. I wondered if this thought, this vision I had, was planted to manipulate or instill fear. That's why I let it go last night, but it came back this morning. It was allowed to come back, which tells me that question is irrelevant. The message must be sent. What I know is I have a purpose, and that purpose is to create balance, aid in shifting Mother Earth to center, and send the messages. Those are my primary tasks. I have many purposes, commitments. I have made promises, vows. I always have what I need when I need it. Mother Earth will move into balance. And so when this energy came through, I thought to myself, is this a manipulation? Is this planting seeds trying to instill fear in me? And then so I let it go, because I'm like, I'm not going to go there. I'm not even going to engage this. And when it came back the next morning, I'm like, okay, so this is meant to be addressed. And so I just reached out and communicated energetically, no harm must come to Earth, no interference, no intervention, nothing. Mother Earth will transcend. Any acts against Mother Earth will have consequences. And they will be, and this came in very strong to me, swiftly and succinctly. It will be handled swiftly and succinctly. And so I sent that message. And as I was, so as I sent the message, those words that came afterwards, what my path and purpose is, it's like it comes in to confirm to me, you have a clear path and purpose, and this is what you're meant to do. So, and so I just write it down as the information comes in. And so every time I say that, every time I hear that, every time I share that, it is a affirmation and a confirmation for me of my path and purpose, what I'm meant to do. And so as I was going through that, previously I had pulled some cards from the archetypes, the wild unknown archetypes, the vessel, the box, the vow, the offering. And this is a very clear message, but I'm not going to go into that right now. But it came in very strong when I was talking about my tasks, my purpose, my commitments, my promises, what I have agreed to. This is not a contract. This is not an obligation. This is who I am. This is what I'm meant for. And it's very deep in who I am. It's very deep in my body. This energy, the Rastafarian biker, is an ally of the primary cabal. This is about instilling fear. I work with the fields around Mother Earth. This is not about just instilling fear in humanity. This is about instilling fear across the universe. They, the primary cabal and primary and secondary cabal, because this action would serve both. Both are trying to elicit an aggressive and visceral response from humanity to show our true colors. And I have our true colors in quotation marks. They're trying to demonize, vilify humanity the same way they demonized and vilified law enforcement, the same way they are demonizing and vilifying Caucasians today. Okay, so they are trying to instill fear across the universe to elicit an attack from people, from energies around the universe, to come to our world, to attack us, to prevent us from transcending, because that way our secret space program people are going to respond, because that's what we do. This cabal energy creates fake wars and gets us to fight and be aggressive, to perpetuate that unbalanced energy, to keep people in fear, to control them. Okay, that's very important to note, that they're moving it from our planet off planet. Okay, they're trying to create adversaries across the universe. They will fail. I am shown a friend of mine who has done innumerable tours in the secret space program, and that was the image I showed you in the last video. I'll put it back up again. I saw that vision of him with all those ribbons around him, like so many ribbons were going around him, I couldn't even count them. That's how many times he's done the 20 and back. Like, you can't even count them. And you're only supposed to do one, but you know, what this unbalanced energy has shown is that they're not honorable. They don't act from integrity, honesty, sincerity. Those things don't mean anything. Okay. So he has done innumerable tours in the secret space program. They say they're only supposed to do one. That's poppycock. I am told his reputation precedes him. So I'm told intuitively his reputation in the secret space program precedes him. There are many things I can take away from this, but I feel the message is that those who know who he is fear coming up against him. The message for me is humanity does not come from this place. Our homeostatic state is unconditional love. We see this in our children. This cabal energy has consciously driven this out of us through trauma. That being said, we do not come from this place of fear and trauma. We release it and find balance. We respond to this external stimuli, the Rastafarian biker energy, from balance. My friend from the secret space program is no longer a tool of the cabal. He finds balance and at first instills fear because no one has ever seen or experienced such a powerful energy. Those transcending on earth are unique. We manifest change through our gift of creation. These experiences are a necessary part of transcendence. What this cabal energy hopes to achieve will not manifest. These experiences give us the opportunity to demonstrate the gift and power of unconditional love, compassion, kindness, and tolerance. We follow divine guidance, execute the will of the divine, protect and empower Mother Earth. We are vessels of the divine light. I have said this in the past, maybe spring of 2021, about my friend. He is not yours. He never was. You cannot have him. He walked through profound darkness. He was a vessel of divine light. He was a vessel of divine light in the darkness. He returns to embody the fullness of his true divinity. He has fulfilled his commitment and returns to balance. He now exists from a balanced place, aiding in Mother Earth's shift into balance. We are powerful. The resistance to this shift is great. The thought comes into my head, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, which is Newton. This led me to Einstein's special relativity. This is outside my scope to explain, but the message is clear for me. What is the message for you? I encourage you to begin seeking. So E equals MC with this little mark and then a 2. I don't know if I can. Energy is equal to mass times the speed of light squared. In other words, energy E and mass M are interchangeable. They are, in fact, different forms of the same thing. To be empowered to affect the flow of energy empowers to affect mass, not to be vulnerable to it. To be empowered to exact a force from the flow of energy protects you from the density of mass. Those working from lower levels of consciousness are working from shifting mass. That's heavy lifting, brute force. Mass crumbles, does not set any kind of foundation. Only pure consciousness exacts any kind of meaningful force, creates any kind of lasting change. We're not working from the physical plane, we're working from the higher realms. I don't think I can explain that. I think you have to feel that and know what that means. So, my ex-husband is completely resistant to anything that is not part of his reality. He's completely resistant to change. He's completely resistant to anything that is outside of what he knows. He's not open to anything. And I am watching him slowly kind of come unraveled. And it's heartbreaking, and it's clear to people who have known him, and so I guess my kids see it, but they don't comment, they don't respond to it, they just allow it because there's nothing they can really do about it. If I can't do anything about it, how can they do anything about it? But it's just this divine source energy showing me what's happening to people who are resisting any type of change, who are not opening up to any type of other possibilities. So one of the reasons why I'm no longer married is because no matter how I tried to comply to kind of create calm and peace in my household, it eventually wouldn't work anymore. So I'd have to do something else, and I was starting to lose who I was. I was becoming someone else to try to keep calm in my house, and I couldn't do that. I've always had to be who I am, and it doesn't help my kids for me to become something else just to maintain some type of sanity in our home, right? And so we left. I got divorced. We got divorced, and And so what's happening now, and my kids are much older now, and they're witnessing it firsthand, is no matter how hard I try to comply to keep my ex-husband calm or give him what he wants so like he'll stay calm or be more accommodating or open to the kids, it doesn't matter. He always still flares up. I get attacked, verbally insulted, and belittled. And so and it's not just me though. Now my kids see that in their interactions with them, and it's really sad. But you know, they're young adults. They're teens, 15 and almost 17 now. So they're not 5 anymore. I can't try to soften the edges, right? I can't try to make excuses or hope that things get better. And it's just how it is. And but now that they want to have their own life and kind of make decisions for themselves, which I think they should at 15 and almost 17, every time they try to make a decision, they are met with resistance, and then they get attacked. And so it's what that's showing me is when people's paradigms are being challenged, and right now during this transcendence, everybody's paradigm is going to be challenged. And if you don't have the ability to adapt and go with the flow and benefit from transcendence, the resistance that you exact against that transition, that change, is going to create this backlash of anger, frustration, aggression. And I think in one or two videos ago I called it madness, because it's almost like, why people are going to ask themselves, why won't you just do, people who have been used to people complying and doing what they want them to do, when the world, the energy shifts against that, to where we're all honoring each other and respecting each other and learning how to collaborate and work together for a common goal, a common good, that will work for us. But people who are used to imposing their beliefs on others and manipulating them into doing what they want them to do, or just using, whether the manipulation is through thought, money, advertising, the media, or whatever tools they use, when they come up against people who are resistant to that, it's going to create more anger, bitterness, resentment, aggression. Okay, that's what we're going to start seeing. I don't even know if I'm going to keep that in. There's so much here. Okay. The black hole vision versus the cloud. And so I'm just going to say, I have this vision of the black hole, and I have, this was from August of 2020, and I got my old journal. I have this here, and then I have this here. Let me see if I can, what this says. I should have marked something to read it. This was, okay, I wonder if I should read this. I feel like I should read this. This is 8/2/2020, August 2nd, 2020. As we move through transcendence, maintaining clear, centered, balanced energy is imperative. We are witnessing a division in the polarities, those who embrace the darkness, the negative polarity, and those who embrace the light, the positive polarity. There is an incredible amount of deception and manipulation occurring at this time. The simplest methodology in discerning between those who embrace the light and those who embrace the darkness would be those individuals who put their faith and trust in God and our divine creator, whether you refer to this divine energy as God, Allah, Mother Nature, animism, unity, Yahweh, Brahman, Tao, etc. Those who put faith in this divine energy embody that energy and live by example through it. And those who put their faith in man, the wooden idol, worship the works of your own hands, and in doing so have forsaken the divine energy, God, embody the negative polarity, the darkness. Free will allows you the opportunity to choose your path, and in doing so, you relinquish yourself to the light, to God, and permit divinity, God, to work through you, empower you on your path to transcendence, and inherit the rebirth of Mother Earth. You are also given the opportunity to embrace the darkness, allowing the negative polarity to work its acts through you. This path will move you out of Earth's energy field. As for all of us, this lifetime will end. For those who choose the negative polarity, you will move from Earth and be reborn on other worlds that are conducive to your energy field. Mother Earth is moving to a higher balanced frequency. If your personal energy field does not match that of Mother Earth, you will not be able to tolerate life on this world. Therefore, you will incarnate on a different world. This is universal law. It cannot be circumvented. I understand these messages are not what many want to hear or can even necessarily comprehend or process, because they lie outside the scope of their belief system. But I must convey the messages as they come. This is one of my purposes here in this lifetime on this world. And then is the picture of Earth right here being enveloped. I have notes: Earth being enveloped or moving through a black hole. Then I see a quasar. And so these lines, there are lines right here, and the notes I have are the lines represent frequency and vibration. And so this is like, what this is a classic quasar right here. And I'm feeling as quasar. At this time, I was getting a lot of information. Like, I kept on feeling quasar. I didn't hear black hole, I just heard quasar. And I heard, I think I remember a long time ago reading something about quasars being old black holes. So this black hole, or quasar, has a pin of light in the middle. That's what the notes say. One pin, and so but the pin of light is shining out like a straight stream of light. Just one stream of light coming out of the center of the the quasar. And then the energy is swirling here. It's swirling and it says classic quasar. Our solar system is moving through a black hole. We are transcending. This is the means of transcendence. It is outside the scope of our science to measure or understand. This is part of Zako's role, to monitor the vibration and well-being of life on Earth. I monitor Mother Earth. We are unified always, never apart. We're not shifting timelines. We've not moved to a different universe. We are shifting frequency. The black hole is Mother Earth's stargate. Those who match Mother Earth's vibration frequency will remain. Those who remain at a lower vibration or frequency will not be able to tolerate life on Earth and will leave this energy field. The transition will be turbulent. It will affect Mother Earth on all levels, mind, body, and spirit. We live a symbiotic existence with Mother Earth. We will therefore be affected by her transition as well as our own. Earth, water, air, fire will shift with the energy fluctuations. Flood, fire, earthquakes, weather phenomenon will occur with increasing intensity and frequency. Project love and light energy, faith and trust in God, our divine creator. Be a paladin of love and light. Empower yourself. Empower humanity. flatten the curve of transcendence, inherit the earth. And okay, August 4th, 2020. Yes, it is a black hole. We will not be able to track it or identify it with our current technology. Zeko will be monitoring the transition and how it affects humanity. The gravity will create turbulence. It is part of the process of raising the vibration of Mother Earth and dispelling the negative energy. The other component of transition is the energy projected by the consciousness of life on Mother Earth, humanity. The greater the shift into balance of the consciousness of Mother Earth, the less turbulent as we transition through the black hole. There is a direct correlation in vibration, frequency, consciousness, and energy. We are empowered through the individual consciousness, but to an even greater extent through the collective consciousness. Those of a balanced or positive polarity will be called to safe locations on Earth. Although even the most centered may have chosen to leave this lifetime during this turbulent time during tribulation. Zeko monitors the heartbeat of humanity. I monitor the heartbeat of Mother Earth. We are unified always, never apart. And so I read that because I was intuitively drawn to, but also because the black hole keeps coming back, and then people keep talking about a cloud that we're moving through. And I remember Corey Good talking about it on Cosmic Disclosure. Oh, we're moving through a cloud, and the secret space program people, they exposed people to the cloud, and the people who were had negative thoughts became more negative, and the people who had positive, who were living from a positive, balanced place, became more positive and balanced. And in one or two videos ago, I said I've never gotten any information about intuitively about a cloud, only the black hole. And so I needed to come back to that, because this whole week up to this point, I've been having visions, and it's that 0 point, it's that Fibonacci spiral. It is as above, so below, in that 0 point spot. And that 0 point is is the void. It is where unity exists. It is where divine awareness exists. And so the black hole sucks in the energy, sucks in all matter. It draws it in. Nothing can resist this black hole. And then it's transmuted by the void, by the divine consciousness, divine awareness, and then it is expelled out the white hole, right? As above, so below. And as we, Mother Earth, travel through that black hole, and will be transmuted, reconfigured, and moved into balance and expelled out the white hole. And I keep on having that vision of it. And so I'm like, whatever this cloud is, it is a construct of this reality that's been implanted in our minds through this cabal energy. Okay, this negative, unbalanced energy is trying to manipulate us. And I know that, I feel that with such strength and such conviction that I don't question. I never can question the divine. And I see the torsion. I see the torsion field, collapsing of the universe, and the rebuilding. Okay. I think I need to read a little bit. The torsion cycling every now moment. So there's annual cycles. We have 5,000 year cycles, 12,000 year cycles, cycles of lifetimes, cycles of orbits, cycles of seasons, etc. They can't see the transition through the black hole. They perceive it as the cloud because it is foggy and unclear. The will of the divine is executed. Mother Earth is reborn. Spiritual warriors are the keepers of the light, the teachers of wisdom. So we're moving through 0 point in every now moment. Just like there is a snapshot of every now moment, and I was talking about that, the universe, there's a snapshot of my every now moment, and that is spread out, that creates the universe. So if I have every now moment photographed for me, starting with today here, or this moment here, all the way back to my birth, which is, let's say, 500 feet away, okay? That is the creation of my universe, okay? My existence. But there is also a photograph taken of every now moment for the universe as a whole, okay? And that is spread out across the divine awareness. Let's just call it the divine awareness. The divine awareness exists at 0 point. So every snapshot, every moment of this existence of this universe is recorded, okay? And it is every time that torsion field cycles, there's a snapshot. That's a now moment. Every time that torsion field cycles, there's a now moment for me. There's a now moment of the universe as a whole. Okay? So, so once again, just like there is a snapshot of my every now moment, there is a snapshot for every now moment of the universe. Every now moment passes through 0 point. The universe collapses on itself in every now moment. And so I have this, again, the Fibonacci spiral, destruction and creation, and 0 point. So every moment, the universe collapses on itself and recreates itself. Every moment, the universe is reconfigured. We are reborn. This is not just at the end of each lifetime. It is in every moment. We commit to path and purpose. Every moment we commit to path and purpose. Okay? Do you understand the implications of this? What do you do with every now moment when every now moment is a moment of creation? Every now moment gives you an opportunity to create something completely new and different than the last now moment. Literally. Spaceships creating and traveling through wormholes, attempting to create the change they so desire, are futile attempts. We all return to the void, to pure consciousness in every now moment. Whether or not we are aware of it or accept it is irrelevant. To know, accept, and empower oneself with this knowledge lays the foundation in the transcendence of Mother Earth. Okay, so that was the end of 316. And so, so if every now moment is created, if we pass through that black hole into 0 point, into divine awareness, and then out the white hole every now moment, when this energy, unbalanced energy, gets in a spaceship and moves through time to try to shift timelines, can you comprehend how irrelevant that is, how that is truly an exercise in futility, when the universe is literally collapsing every moment we are returning to unity. Every now moment. Literally. This universe is collapsing in on itself and recreating itself. To think that you can move through time to create change that you would like to see is completely a function of the ego, which does not exist. It's a construct of this universe. It's a construct. So you are stuck in this paradigm of believing that you can actually exact a force on the universe and usurp the divine awareness. Every moment, we can't recall every moment. We have to be in unity to recall every moment of unification. Okay? When we return to 0 point, we have to connect to unity and unify ourselves with unity. Okay, so this negative unbalanced energy every now moment returns to center, says, oh, I'm going to be manifest balanced energy into my existence, comes out the white hole and still trying to control, still connected to the ego. Okay, there is a commitment, there is a shift that has to happen, and every now moment is an opportunity to change. Okay. All right, so now I go back to 3:15, March 15th. And these are my external notes that I missed. Quantum entanglement connected to karma. Light workers who are undergoing psychic attacks do not carry the karma connected to those experiences. Those experiences are manifesting the lessons to be learned in Cepheus, but there is still a connection to that energy. This is an example of quantum entanglement. Even though in this now moment they remain here on Earth, those energies, people projecting unbalanced energy, that energy connected to those psychic attacks is manifesting a new world in Cepheus. Light workers work together to execute the will of the divine. I exist in Cepheus, stand as light in the darkness, and transmute that energy. I work through it, release it, and return to center. I execute the will of the divine. That is what I do. That is what we do for one another. When one of us struggles, we stand like sentinels. When one of us struggles, we stand like sentinels, like beacons of light, reminding them of their true divine selves, awakening them, reminding them of their path and purpose. This world has taken many powerful beacons, light workers, but now their lights shine brighter, unfettered by this physical form, assisting in executing the will of the divine. And so that, I'm not really clear on that. What I'm trying to say is many of these, I was talking about my grandparents, my dad, my Uncle Dan, my Auntie Blaze, and then these current light workers that I'm coming into union with. These current light workers that I'm coming into union with, we are very adept at walking in darkness, carrying the light within and walking through darkness. And when we start to lose our way, or we start to become beaten down by this negative unbalanced energy, and we buckle down and we start coming within, just protecting that light, we are vessels of the light. We carry the light within us and we have to protect it. And I call it our armor. We wear the armor of God. There's even a Bible quote about the armor of God, but we literally fortify ourselves. Our brains are predisposed to protecting ourselves by making us forget, like my childhood traumas I didn't remember till I was 21, right? 21. That was a form of protection until I was at a place where I could deal with it. But we can carry the most fortified armor, and we have ways, our tools, the protection, and we just shut down. I was very shut down when I was younger. And I talk about my friend who's in the secret space program. He's got some serious armor, thick, powerful armor that he's protecting his inner light with everything he has. And when we come to one another as strangers or as family, however we come to one another, we are drawn to one another. And I can tell you, I don't know why I was so drawn to this person, but I'm incredibly drawn to him. And I just stand there, and sometimes, even though I haven't seen him in almost 3 years, he infuriates me because I get this information telepathically, and we do communicate, but a lot of it is telepathic communications, and I just want to beat him with a stick sometimes, metaphorically. And but I still stay here. I stay in his energetic field. I'm constantly working with his energetic field, and there's no way anything other than death would separate us physically. It's just something that I'm drawn to do, and I didn't understand it until like about a couple years ago, like about a year after I met him, and so whatever it takes, I'm always going to stand right there to be a light in his darkness until he finds his inner light, till he remembers his true divine self. Because that's what we do for each other. We do that for each other. We incarnate on these very challenging worlds, and we make sacrifices. We carry each other's karma to give to lighten their load, to lighten their energy fields. We'll carry one another's karma from this world to another world. That's what we do for each other. And we're very profoundly connected. And I didn't really say that clearly, but it's very important to know. It's important for these very powerful light workers who have been steeped in darkness, that I know have so much goodness in them, but they've just been so deeply steeped in darkness, and they start to lose their way, to know that we come to one another and we support one another and we don't judge. We're here for one another. And so I go back to those cards from the Wild Unknown, and I'm just going to show you them really quick because this video is so long. The vessel, it holds, contains, protects. So we're vessels of the light. The box, and I'll do, so all of us are contained in a box right now. We've been compartmentalized, manipulated, controlled. And I would see this vessel right now, as I was pulling when I pulled the cards earlier this week, the vessel was about protecting what lies within. The box is what contains us and tries to pull us away from what's important, pull us away from our divine roots, who we truly are. The vow is the commitment that we make to the divine, to this world, to Mother Earth, to each other. And the offering is what, to be given, what is to be given up for the sake of the bigger picture. Okay? And really, once we realize that what we're giving up really isn't, will bring what we want. You know, we're holding on to these things that we think we need, we think we want, but we've just been convinced that we need or we want these things. Okay? Truly, the things that we want reside within, and they are offered by the divine. But what are we willing to release so we can receive that offering from the divine? So now I have 316. These are missed notes again. Every now moment is an opportunity to create something new, different, not just lifetimes, moments. So this goes back to the cycling and how every now moment is a moment of creation. Every now moment we return to the void. We are reminded of our true divine selves, and then we are projected back and created anew. Okay? Are we going to release, do we release those paradigms? Do we release the old and become something new? Or do we hold on to it? Okay, do we hold on to the things that we believe or we think we need? So every now moment, the divine reminds us of who we are and allows us to rediscover ourselves. What will you create in this now moment? What are you willing to release in order to allow in and manifest new into your life? We must release the old ways, old paradigms, to allow in the new. March 18th. They have been made aware of the consequences for any action taken, and this goes back to the Rastafarian bikers. They have been made aware of the consequences for any action taken. So the Rastafarian bikers, this goes back to the Rastafarian bikers. They've been made aware of that there will be swift consequences for any action taken against Mother Earth or any of its beings. The reconfiguration. Okay, so that's what came to me is reconfiguration. When I decide to climb down a cliff to explore, I realize at some point I must turn back or the consequences potentially could be dire. Okay, so when I was younger, I'd just get a wild hair and I'm like, I think I'm going to go see if I can, what's over there or what I can do. And I did a lot of hiking, and sometimes I did stuff that probably weren't so smart, but I was so curious I had to know. And so I would just go and explore, and then I would get myself to a point where I'd be like, okay, I think it's better if I start moving back. And because I could end up in a very bad situation. And normally I was already in a semi-bad situation, but the vision to get myself back to where it was safe was much clearer. So it was always important to know how far you went and make sure you didn't go too far off the rails, right? Or for me. So we are given the opportunity to explore, as the divine is curious, but not become nihilistic. We are given the free will to explore, but not at the expense of all else. There are natural boundaries put in place. There are those who would try to break down those boundaries, but they are unbreakable. Why or how can that be? The belief or thought that everything or anything is breakable is a construct of this reality. It doesn't truly exist. One can manifest resistance, breaking down barriers, but these too are constructs. They are constructs of the ego. They do not truly exist. One must know, be aware, and exist from divine consciousness to understand the limitations inherent in constructs. Constructs provide reference, lessons, understanding, tools, stimulation. They are manifested and provide a framework for this existence. Neither in part nor totality do they rule or usurp divine awareness. Every now moment I return to 0 point, the void. I create a new now moment. I know what that means for me and all energy influenced by my field. We all choose to seek, find, and walk our path and purpose. What is your journey? So I know that every now moment I return to 0 point. I know every now moment I return to unity, to divine awareness, to unity consciousness. And I know what that means for me, and I know what that means for all energy influenced by my field. I know what that is. What does that mean for you? When you can truly embrace and understand and know that, what does that mean for you? Because I know what it means for me. I know what it means for me on my path and my purpose, and I know exactly what I'm here to do. So each of us need to seek and find what this reality that you have created, the construct that you've created, the reality that you've created in this existence, what that means for you, what you are meant to do, what are you meant to learn, what are you meant to teach us, help us with. Okay, because each of us have a purpose, a reason why we're here, to help one another, to create something greater than ourselves. And so the other thing is, I'm going to say something huge is happening in June. I don't know what it is. I'm not really, I know my, as far as astrology, I know I've been watching some astrologers who are talking about the transits, and so I can listen to the videos and get something from that, but I really don't understand all the planets, the archetypes, how they influence each other. That's not my area. But I know something's happening in June. I don't know if the planets are saying if something is planetary is happening, but I kept on seeing roses, and I looked up what what month roses represent. June, roses are the June flower. Again, I said in 2 videos, I actually said June instead of March, and the second video, I didn't even realize it. So I'm like, something is happening in June. I don't know what it is, something for me personally, but I also feel like something globally, because I'm so connected to Mother Earth and the planet. I do feel like something will happen for me personally, and something's going to happen on the planet. And I think that's it. So give me just a second. Okay, I don't think there's anything else to share, so we'll end it here. Thank you.